Alright, so here we are in the middle of plowing season, and had a little breakdown. Went to put the truck in gear, and there was nobody home. We get a nice little snow today. We're going to try to use this plow truck, but this morning when we went out to use it, it wouldn't go in gear. So what was happening was the shifter just felt free, like there was nothing going on. Underneath the truck here, this is your typical 4L80E. This is what happened. So the cable just came loose from the shift lever. Now, we could replace this, and this is just, you know, the whole cable has to be replaced, which is kind of frustrating. And this is just a piece of plastic on the inside, which really makes it difficult to repair. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fix this with this little piece of angle iron. Sorry about the lighting in here, guys. It's really kind of poor. So effectively, I'm going to weld this piece on the shift lever. It's going to work perfect. Okay, so this is the repair. I know that you could just replace this cable end and it would probably be fine, but I feel like this is a more long-term solution for this problem. Okay, go ahead and put it, this is in park. Let's go and bring it down into reverse. That's reverse. How about neutral and drive? So that's drive, that's the position it's going to be in pretty much all the time. And go all the way down to manual 1. So that's manual 1, and then bring it back up to drive. So that's drive, and then reverse, and then finally park. Alright, I think that's a pretty good solution, and I think that'll last a long time. And if worst case scenarios, if I have to replace that cable, I can just grind off those welds right there. They're nice and easy to get to, and I can put the new cable back on. So this way nothing is changed on the shift fork, so I can reuse that if I ever do replace this cable. But I figured this cable is pretty darn nice still. You know, it's still going to work for a long time, so why go through the trouble of replacing the cable? You can just make a patch like this work. So that's nice and secure. That's not coming off. Now, while you're welding underneath the vehicle, you're going to use some good old dihydrogen monoxide to cool what we just welded. Because if you let that thing get too hot, it will literally melt the plastic on that shift end, that shift cable. So you have to keep the thing cool. You need to spray it as you're welding so that that thing doesn't get too hot. Otherwise, you could be melting that cable end and you'd be going backwards. So make sure to keep that thing cool as you're welding. And let me just explain a few things to you guys. This has happened a couple times already. This cable has came off the shifting fork and it makes life miserable. This is a plow truck. We plow a lot of snow with this. So whenever this happens, someone, and it's usually me, has to crawl underneath this truck with a piece of cardboard, getting snowed on and nasty and cold, and put this shift cable back on, and it just kind of snaps on. So this thing goes from reverse to drive hundreds of times. And so I kind of figured this here, this repair is going to save me a lot of aggravation. And this should have been done from the factory, something like this, maybe a bolt through that plastic instead of just a retaining plastic clip that can come off. And as you see down here, this thing is actually at a little bit of an angle, so it naturally wants to pull this over, which is just, all in all, it's a poor design. This thing only has like 40,000 miles, but probably half of those miles, or twice of those miles, I should say, are in reverse. So this is going to save me a lot of aggravation. It might not be 100% textbook, guys. So no, you're not going to find this repair in you know, a repair manual anywhere or online. But this is going to work for us, and that'll be a nice long-term repair. So we got him back plowing, so mission accomplished. I think that fix will last for quite a long time. As you can see, it just goes back and forth, back and forth. Every snowstorm, we get a lot of road frontage here, so every snowstorm we get hammered with a lot of snow. This is a state road here. We get a lot of snow coming in from that road every time the big snowplow goes by. As you can see, it's going forward and backwards just fine. That's a nice fix. Well, I know my videos have the tendency to be pretty boring sometimes, or they have the capabilities of being boring, so check this out. This bad boy is a 71 El Camino, and it's in here because we're putting a back window in it, or we've already put it in, rather. But check it out. This thing is about as cherry as you could possibly get. One of our good customers here. Look at that interior. Those doors shut just as good as they did when they left the factory. So we put a back window in this thing for him, and he's gonna come pick it up. Figured I'd show it off though before he does. Look at that thing, it's just as beautiful as can be. I don't think there's a trace of orange peel in that black. That is some beautiful paint. We work on some pretty cool stuff. Sometimes I like to show it off. Look at that thing. I got the cover on there just to keep it from getting scratched or anyone leaning on it or whatever. So check it out. Cool, huh? So check it out. That's about a 460 some odd cubic inch. It's basically a 454 big block Chevy, but she's been tweaked a little bit. Looks like it's got some aluminum heads, aluminum intake. It's got full length headers down there. Man, beautiful. A lot of money someone spent on this thing, but it looks just gorgeous. It's got a 6AL MSD, so someone's been putting some money into this thing, keeping it up. I bet that thing goes pretty darn good. I'm not going to touch it, guys. I'm not going to drive it, start it up, or any of that, because got to respect the customer's stuff. But I just, figured I'd show it off. It is just beautiful.